so cloud nine on a spaceship, playing with my brain and practically erased it. Mind races, I can't really take it. Never good enough and honestly I hate me. Like fuck dude Cupid, did me so stupid. Threw a pity party and I don't wanna do this. She threw me out cause I'm being emotional. I call her baby girl where I'm supposed to go. I never. All these fucking pretty girls want one thing. I might not know what it is, but it's not me. Wow. She want a guy who put her in a bad mood when she's feeling down. Yeah, that makes me pretty sad too. Yeah, all these fucking pretty girls want one thing. She loves me on the phone but fucking hates me when I'm there. I try my best to show I want her, try my best to show I care. It's like she hates herself so much she loves the paper girl. I swear I cannot bring myself to hurt you, but your heart I can repair. Caught off guard, so shocked, can't talk now. Watching shows like Naruto to keep my head down. Then it clicks, I missed the messages she wrote down. So constricted like her hands around my throat now. You know I'd text you, you know I'd call you. And when it snows I'd be the one to warm you. But you don't want none, I'm in a long queue. Vladimir Putin, you looking for bad news. My lights go weak, they need a buff. Loving you is beat me up. How many times do I have to say it? I am not enough. Treat me like a string of love wrapped around your pretty thumb. Say that I'm here for you when I'm drunk because I'm fucking dumb. Need to stop but you're so pretty. Oh, be told this love might kill me. Her excuses condescending. Fujimoto wrote my ending. All these fucking pretty girls want one thing. I might not know what it is, but it's not me. Wow. She want a guy who put her in a bad mood when she's feeling down. Yeah, that makes me pretty sad too. Yeah, all these fucking pretty girls want one thing. All these fucking pretty girls want one thing. I might not know what it is, but it's not me. Wow. She want a guy who put her in a bad mood when she's feeling down. Yeah, that makes me pretty sad too. Yeah, all these fucking pretty girls want one thing.
What's up, everyone? How we doing? It's been 2 days. I'm back, better than ever. I hope everyone's doing good out there. October 6th, 2024. Just coming in, saying hello. Alex Cuesta here for the Alex Cuesta Show. Just gonna shoot the shit as we always do. Talk about some topics. Anyone that's astute can see that there is still no Dave. He swears he'll be back tomorrow. But I mean, do we really miss him? Is that? Yeah. But we always appreciate everyone that's out there watching, anyone that's listening later. Hello to all of you. If you're watching on X, thank you so much. Facebook, YouTube as well. If you're watching on X, give us a repost and smash the follow button over there. And if you're watching on Facebook as well, follow and, give us a share over there. And if you're on YouTube, smash the like button, share the show with your friends, and go give us a subscription over there as well. So we appreciate all of you. Like I said, I've been gone for 2 days. Sometimes you just need to recharge. And sometimes you just get stuck falling asleep while you're trying to put your kids to bed and you wake up and you're like, fuck, it's 2:00. Like, I'm not going to go live now. But overall, I appreciate everyone that's over here watching and that people that consistently come and watch. We love you all. But going to jump into the fun stuff. Do my little preamble as I always do. The Epstein client list is still a freaking problem. And why is it a problem? Because we still don't have it. We still don't have it. We still don't have that Epstein client list. And every time that I get a chance to jump on the Alex Cuesta Show on this mic, I am going to make sure I say something about it. Say something. I feel like if we say it consistently, either they're going to have to come over and kill me, which might happen, or they are going to have to maybe answer for it at some point. I still believe that this is something that all major creators should be doing, and all creators, period, not just major. If you're a content creator and little girls being raped and put into sex slavery by the most rich and powerful people in the world is important to you like it is to me, please, please, please go ahead and talk about it and keep talking about it. Encourage your favorite creators to talk about it. Comment saying, hey, Why aren't you talking about the Epstein client list? And make them say those things. Because the more people that continue to talk about it, the better chance that we have of getting it out there. So there's that. Obviously, the victims of Helene, that's still going on. We can't let that get memory hold that there's victims of Helene still going on. And now it looks like another hurricane's about to smash in Florida. They are starting the evacuation of Tampa. I think they started like 10 hours ago. But if you're in any of these areas with these storms, get out if you can. Um, this is serious. These storms are hitting pretty hard. And we want to make sure that we keep as many people safe as we can. I know some people are like still just returning from what happened with Helene, and now they might be told they have to get out again. But please do preserve your life. Everything else will come back in the end, but just preserve your life. That's the most important part here. So I'm calling, anyone that you can donate to. I have a family member over there. Yeah, by extension, she's out there on the ground. She lives in South Carolina, but she's over in North Carolina in Asheville, helping out, doing her part. I'm not saying that people have to go there, but donate somewhere. If you know anybody that's there helping and they have a way to donate, or they just send them money so they can buy supplies and help people out because people have their cars fucking washed away. They have they can't get places. So if you can help in that way, or if you have someone over there, someone over there, send them money so they can go leave a little further up, go somewhere, buy things, bring it back for people. That's big. Or if you have an organization, like I've said, I like mercury1.org. If you go on their website, you can donate to them, and they always do a good job with all these disasters. They helped with Lahaina over in Hawaii. They helped with East Palestine. And I'm pretty sure they're still there trying to help in both of those spots because our government doesn't give a fuck. We're not going to talk about the report because I don't have it. Maybe I'll look it up. But FEMA apparently spent like 1.6 billion on immigrants, on criminal aliens, not immigrants. Fuck that. Criminal aliens. They spent that much money giving them relief and help and things like that. And now they're saying, hey, we really don't have much reserve for the hurricane victims, for American citizens. And even if they aren't American citizens there, we don't have reserves for our fucking job, for what we're paying taxes for as Americans, for FEMA to come in and protect us after there are disasters. So, I mean, maybe you need to start writing your local congressman or calling your local congressman and senator and say, hey, let's really look into FEMA. Is it useful anymore? Do we need FEMA anymore? Or can it get the fuck out of here? I think we need to have some serious considerations on whether or not FEMA needs to be a thing, as well as many of the government bodies. But FEMA, after especially their last few responses to things, um, have been terrible. They've been terrible. Maybe if Trump wins, he can revamp it and maybe make it better and stop letting it focus on equity and all this dumb DEI bullshit. And we can get them back to doing their job, which was helping the American people when disasters hit. That was the purpose of them. So I don't know. And if they're not going to do it, then get them the fuck out of there. That's it. They're not going to do it, then FEMA can go away. And we can just funnel that money somewhere else. Back into the pockets of the American people, maybe. And we can get private people to go over there because it seems like the NGOs and the private organizations are doing the job right now anyway. So if they're going to do it anyway, might as well get the government out. The country runs the best and the government's out of our pockets. So there's that. As always, stand with Alex Jones. Alex Jones, I saw something that he's putting some stuff out on InfoWars again. And I mean, he's going to keep it going until he can't. But when the time comes that he's officially gone, like we said, he has a chance if he wants to come here and let his voice be heard. We are a spot. I've openly said I've not always been the biggest Alex Jones fan. Come around to some of the things that he said because they've been right. And if someone's right, I'm going to give them their due. But I do stand with this fact that he deserves to speak. And he has millions of people that like hearing him speak. And that in America, we are not silencing people just because we don't like their speech. So Alex Jones, if he ever needs an outlet, offer's always here for him to come here. And lastly, $1 for Moms for Liberty. That is all I'm asking for anyone here. If you're a Trump voter, even if you're not, but especially a Trump voter, give $1 to Moms for Liberty if you haven't already. And then encourage anyone that you talk to that is voting for Trump, give $1 to Moms for Liberty. We know Trump is going to get at a base 65 to 70 million, hopefully more, but at least 65 to 70 million votes at a bare minimum. If everyone that's voting for Trump gives $1 to Moms for Liberty, they are an organization that is going to fight for our values in the school systems. And now they're branching out to the local government and state level. So if you give $1 to them and you make their coffers richer, we've had on Tiffany Justice months ago. We had on Tina Deskovich 3 weeks ago. And if you want to hear more about the organization, you can listen to either one of those shows. And you'll see that they are just moms that were on school boards that saw the wokeness. It started off with critical race theory in schools. That's where they really started to focus. But now it's just on all the DEI initiatives, all the woke stuff, all the social emotional learning, all that type of stuff, getting it out of the schools. And they're an organization that we should support. So definitely go there and give them your support. All right, let's get going on some of the fun stuff now, shall we? Okay. So first things first, we got to talk about the size of Donald Trump's balls, because the man is incredible. He returned to Butler, PA, the site of where a man was inches away from taking his life. And he did a rally there. He did a rally there on Saturday, yesterday. And to no one's surprise that's paying attention, Musk said he would be there, but Elon Musk is there. But to me, this is a story on Fox News. Musk energizes Trump supporters at Butler rally 3 months after assassination attempt on former president. Now, this is the most fucked up part to me. It's been 90 days. Where's the media talking about the fact that this guy was almost killed twice? You want to know where they are? They're happy. They're happy that he was almost killed twice. But let's jump into this real quick. So Musk is there. He excitedly jumps. There were 60,000 people. 60,000 people at this rally. And again, July 13th is when President Trump was shot at. And 60,000 people were at this rally. Now, the rally was apparently more upbeat. Musk was there. He put his support behind him. But for me, the most important part is the fact that Trump showing strength from sitting there and being able to come back and go to this place, because that would be terrifying. If it was me, fuck that. I'm not going back there. Now, you see in some of these shots over here where they're speaking, there's bulletproof glass around the speaker. Fair, right? Fucking guy got shot when there was no bulletproof glass. But even here, I feel like Trump now is standing off the side of the bulletproof glass. That glass, that's kind of terrifying. But obviously, the rally went off a lot without a hitch. And Musk went up there and he did a speech, saying that we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was the fist pumping after getting shot, obviously comparing Biden to Trump. He said, the typical is the most consequential election that we're going to have. And, he went with also fight, 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 vote, vote, vote. A bunch of things that, we need to hear. And I agree, vote, vote, vote. And not just vote for Donald Trump, not just vote for president, vote down ticket as well. This is going to be my chance to get on my soapbox again, where even if you are in a blue area, very blue area, and maybe the state's going to go definitely red or blue, and your area is kind of predetermined, don't fall into the trap of saying, hey, well, my vote doesn't matter. Fuck it. And, it's going to go Democrat or it's going to go Republican anyway. No, vote. And this isn't for like the popular vote. I don't care about that. I've seen people talk about that. Like, we need to get the popular vote up because then they can't deny it. And that's true. That's true. Getting the popular vote up so they can't deny the fact that, if Trump wins, that he won, that matters. But what I want to say more is go out and vote, because those down ballot elections, your Supreme Court justice elections in your state, your comptroller elections, your state senators, state assemblymen or women, or whatever the hell they are, your local officials, any of that stuff, all that stuff that's on the ballot, your propositions, read those fucking props. Start researching what the props are going to be now. Go look up what propositions are going to be on my ballot, because the thing is, those explanations are usually vague. Go find out what those propositions are now. They're available. They're openly available. What propositions are going to be on your ballot? We are a month. We are less than a month away from election time. Go research your propositions, because a lot of times too, people look at these propositions and go, "Oh, okay, this sounds great," and then they're voting for something or putting into law something they never wanted. So research your propositions and get out and vote. Vote early. Find out when you can early vote. Find out where you can early vote. In New York, we're 10 days before. So, just go to the 5th and you're 10 days before that. So 5th, 7, 8, 9. So the 26th in New York is when you start. And we had on Eric Haight, the Dutchess County Republican Elections Commissioner. You can go to any site in New York, in your county, and you can vote. They have the information. It's not like election day where you have to go to a certain place. So that's the important part here. Now, again, back to the rally with Trump, because that's where we were going with this. But Trump indicated that, people might be trying to kill him, maybe his opponents, and seems pretty true, right? Um Trump, being Trump himself, at the beginning brought up the chart that was up there right before he was shot, saying, "I love that chart. I love that graph. Isn't it a beautiful thing?" He obviously started by saying, and as I was saying, he started the rally. Like, thing about Donald Trump is, and the thing that his opponents don't understand about him is, he doesn't seem to take himself as seriously as they think he does. I think they believe, and they call him, he's an egotistical narcissist. He's this, he's that. And while he might be, sure, fuck yeah, he is. He's a business owner. He's a billionaire. He's trying to go for the most important position on the planet. Yes, you have to be a narcissist in order to go for these positions. Hell, you're pretty much a narcissist if you're going for federal government. And maybe if you don't start off as one, you become one, because you sit there and you start getting your ass wiped by every single person around you there, because they all want to win your favor somehow. Your staffers are looking to move up at some point. They're not just going to stay your staffers, your interns. They want to become chiefs of staff. Because then when you become a chief of staff and you start to rise up the ranks, and maybe you're a chief of staff of a junior senator, now you're a chief of staff of you move into another more senior senator, and now you're the chief of staff of the minority or majority whip. And there's so many different positions, right? So these people are all trying to kiss each other's ass. So the whole narcissism thing has always been so stupid to me, because they are all fucking narcissists. Most of your politicians at lower, higher level are narcissists in some way, shape, or form, because you have to have a firm belief in yourself to the point of, I know what I'm doing is right. And there's some narcissism in that, whether it's being your board members, your council members, things like that. There is some there. So I always thought it was such a stupid thing to be like, he's an egotistical narcissist. Of course he is. He's going for president. You have to have something a little off on you if you are going to go run for president. So that vector of attack is always annoying. But I think what they don't understand about Trump is, I think he's more common than they believe he is. And yes, he's a billionaire. Yes, he's had a silver spoon. I'm not saying the guy is anything like us. He's not. But I think that his mentality may be a little more than they believe he is. That he feels that, in the class that he's in, he is a second-rate citizen. Like, the billionaire class is not his friend. Maybe they used to be, but not his friend. Because even if you look at where he is, his billions are nothing compared to some of the other billionaires, right? He's like a lower threshold billionaire. And there's guys like Elon Musk who have hundreds of billions and even tens or 50 billions or things like that. So I feel like Donald Trump feels like the lower class of that level. So I'm not saying he relates to us in that way. Like, I'm not, but he obviously relates to enough people, because he has enough people that sing his praises. So, in a classy move, Trump also, he held a moment of silence for Corey Compatore at 6:11, the exact time that Crooks began firing and Compatore got killed. And there was, two other people critically wounded. And, it was just it was a triumphant return and a ballsy return, and a place that I don't know, if me personally, if I was ever in that position and I got shot at, and I would never blame him if he just sat there and said, fuck it, I'm never going back to that place. Why would I go back to Butler, PA? But it just showed that, and Butler, PA, what is Butler, PA, right? PA is obviously a battleground state, but Butler, PA is not one of these like big areas. It is one of these places that is kind of smaller. But him going back there just shows that um probably that little bit of narcissism, right? That he's like, fuck it, I'm Donald Trump, I'm gonna go there. But on top of that, it just shows that he's not giving up on that area just because there was one crazy. And I think that's big for the people of Butler, the people they're going to vote for, maybe the independents on the side. That Trump, a terrible incident happened to Donald Trump there. And he was like, I'm going to go back there. You people still deserve to have me come back there. And I think that's a big move. Nate, what's going on, man? You're always here with us. I appreciate you. I know it's been 2 days, Nate. I'm back. David should be back probably tomorrow. But yeah, so Trump being there, that was big. We'll see. It gave him a nice bump. I saw yesterday that Trump being there gave him a bump and now a slight edge over Kamala because again, not even just the people of Butler, PA, just his supporters and some people that are borderline. Because you can even have some people just looking at you and like, yo, that's alpha male energy. I'll vote for that guy. He might have done some fucked up things, said some things I don't like, maybe did some things I don't like. But some people will just look and go, that's alpha male energy. I can vote for that. That seems like they always talk about Trump's not presidential. What is more presidential than returning to the place where they almost assassinated you and showing leadership and showing power and showing that, yeah, you can shoot at me, but I'm not going anywhere. I want to be the president of the whole United States, and this is part of it. And I'm going to go there. I'm going to let these people know that I want to be their president. So that's alpha energy there, and that's important for Trump to do. So that was really cool to see that. Yeah. So yeah, Rutgers versus Huskers leave the offense at home. I mean, yeah, that was a tough game. Congrats to you guys, Nate. Cornhuskers, you guys are a good football team over there. But I thought it was a good battle. Rutgers is a good defense. Nebraska, played well because Rutgers offense, they keyed in on Kyle Monangai, who still had a pretty good game. They keyed in on him and really did good things. And it took Rutgers, opening up late, running kind of a no huddle-ish more scheme, which always gives a favor to offense. And they made it close. They made it interesting. They made it fun. But congrats to the Cornhuskers. Rutgers battled, so I'm okay with that. They have another tough game coming up, but I'm fine with the way that they battled. That doesn't bother me at all. So let's go on to the next story. What do I want to do here next? Let's keep it political here because we're starting off with politics. Let's keep it political here. Let's talk about Kamala because Kamala is the one that's going up against President Trump. And I just want people to see that Kamala Harris, this people watching me here already know Kamala Harris is a terrible human being, but we just need to show it some more because God, this woman can't get out of her own way. And who the fuck approved this, by the way? That's all I want to know. So, okay, let's go with this. I like to read this out loud here. So Kamala Harris, yesterday, October 5th at 7:37 p.m. at the ripe time, from her own VP, the VP handle, so it's official here. The people of Lebanon are facing an increasingly dire humanitarian situation. I am concerned about the security and well-being of civilians suffering in Lebanon and will continue working to help meet the needs of all civilians there. To that end, the United States will provide nearly $157 million in additional assistance to the people of Lebanon for essential needs such as food, shelter, water, protection, and sanitation to help those who have been displaced by the recent conflict. This additional support brings the total U.S. assistance to Lebanon over the last year to over $385 million. She writes that proudly. Now, number one, why the fuck are we sending money to Lebanon? That's first and foremost, right? I don't care about Lebanon. They are at war. They're housing one of the worst terrorist groups ever. So while I always feel for innocent people, it sucks for the innocent people, but we should not be going crazy sending all this money over there. We shouldn't. We should not. I've said in the past in the show, like humanitarian aid's okay, but in the wake of what's going on in the United States, this is very ill timed because I just want, riddle me this, people. What is going on right now in the United States? I think there's a bit of a tragedy occurring right now. Oh, yes. I talked about it in the fucking beginning. Hurricane Helene has fucked up places, particularly North Carolina with Asheville and parts of Florida, Georgia, things like that. And this individual, this fucking person, Kamala Harris, is happy that they're sending over 157 million of additional assistance over to Lebanon for what? Food, shelter, water, protection, and sanitation. I think there's a group of people who could absolutely use food, shelter, water, protection, probably from like animals and shit like that, and sanitation. I think there's a people that could definitely use. The American people, the exact people that she is trying to be the president of. She's basically going, meh. And as far as I know, from what I've seen, Americans are getting $750 over there. That is what they're getting because FEMA ran out of money. But FEMA never runs out. But the government never runs out of money. I guess if it's not through FEMA, the government can't give money to anyone, right? They can't give relief. But we never run out of money to give overseas. So this is as ill times as it is. And if you can still vote for this woman, after yesterday in the brink of this, she is sitting there bragging about sending over money to Lebanon when there are people that, that 157 million, cut that in half. Shit, that's $75 million. Send that over to North Carolina. Send that down to Florida. Send that to Georgia. No. Got to do 1.5 billion on illegal immigrants. FEMA's got to work on them, and we got to send 157 more million to Lebanon because there's a war there. There's an evil war from the Israeli genociders. Grr. And to boot, she needs to move Vice away from that because I thought presidents were the only ones that were truly able to announce these types of things. I thought this was a presidential thing where presidents announce like aid where it's going, not VPs. So again, we've seen moments of it. We saw over here Joe Biden say that, if you hadn't heard it, that he's basically handing over, and he's been handing over a lot of responsibilities to Kamala, both foreign and domestic. But, this is something right here that all but confirms that Kamala is running the show. So now we can officially put anything that goes on, whether it's more border crossings, whether it's higher inflation, whether it is failed disaster relief effort, whether it is sending more of our money over to Ukraine and, Israel, Gaza, Lebanon, wherever the fuck they're sending it, and not bringing it here, that is now officially all on Kamala. And she has confirmed it. This isn't conjecture anymore that Kamala is running the show. Now, we all assumed it was, and I'm curious how pissed Jill is that she only got to sit in on one meeting of the cabinet, which was fucking atrocious, that she was sitting there smiling about her being the leader of the free world for 5 minutes. But this, this is about as dirty and as low as you're going to get when there are your own people suffering. But if this doesn't prove to you that Kamala Harris does not give a shit about the American people and is far more concerned with politics and playing sides here, then I don't know what will. Because if you want to look at her, just her page, let's go to Vice President Kamala Harris and her page, and let's just scroll. Okay. So she has pinned on October 3rd, in the wake of Helene, we are seeing the best of America. Neighbors taking care, blah, blah, blah. I don't see how much that they put. Oh, let's see here. Hurricane Helene has deeply affected communities across Southeast. Yesterday in North Carolina, I reaffirmed that President Biden and I will be with them as they rebuild and recover. Oh, okay. Okay, so she's posting about it here. Wake of Hurricane Helene, we're seeing the best. That includes North Carolina National Guard. What about money? We're seeing all this about Helene. I think all this is somebody fucking in that response to that post. That's where all this comes from. Because let's see. Boom. Boom. Let's see. To the people of Lebanon. And then after that, a little bit before, but she put that in there. After that, let's see. She started talking about coordinating a whole of government effort to help the communities recover. We have authorized 1,000 active duty soldiers, deployed more than 6,400 federal personnel, shipped more than 13.2 million meals and 13.4 million liters of water. So that was a CYA, a full and total CYA. Because she's putting up things, but right here, they knew they fucked up. So now they had to go and fill the rest of their timeline with North Carolina shit. So this is, and look, it's her there. There's no Biden here. There's no Biden here. She is playing president. She's not the president, everybody. Let me just throw that out there. Right now, Kamala Harris, a woman who was elected as vice president, not president, is officially playing president of the United States. So I figured we'd have, a nice little outrage there about Kamala Harris not caring because, they're putting in these, they're sending meals, they're sending personnel, they're sending water. Okay. A whole of government effort. But instead, we're going to now, I don't know how much all that costs. All right. Because I can't tell you how much it costs. Can't tell you what type of meals they're sending them and things like that. But you announced a number for Lebanon. You said, hey, 158 million going to Lebanon. What's the number? How much is all of this costing? Because you know what? The American people, me, this audience here, no problem. If you're sitting there and you go, hey, we're going to take 250 million and send it over to help the North Carolina people and people in North Carolina from Hurricane Helene, Nashville. We are going to, do that. We're going to, after we send that, we are going to allocate it all to the right spots. And then even after that, we're already going to be talking about how much more we need to spend and where it needs to go in North Carolina. No one's going to bat an eye. Conservative like me, who likes small government, not going to bat an eye to that. Okay. Because that's doing the right thing. That is the federal government protecting its people. That's quite literally your only fucking charter. Protect us. It's it. It's all the government really needs to be doing. Protect us. But no. Yeah, it's kind of talked about, we're sending these things. And great. Fucking great. Do it. I don't care about the personnel. Honestly. Your government personnel. More government people, the worst. The soldiers, awesome. Soldiers know what they're doing. They are trained in disaster relief. Your government personnel can fuck off. I don't care about any of them. Any of them. Ronald Reagan said it famously. What is it? The worst 6 words you can hear is, hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, or something like that. 7 words or whatever it is. I can't count. But yeah, no. Kamala Harris is, that woman wants to run the free world. Okay. So what else do we want to do? Let's finish off our politics talk here. Technically, I guess, because we'll get political a few more times. But let's see. Actually, we'll save that. I will save that one for later. But, this one's fun because it's stupid. Let's talk about something stupid. And lo and behold, something stupid is from NPR. Surprise, surprise. Okay. So this one, you guys may get a laugh at. I know I did. So, headline. Birders argue over plan to change dozens of bird names. So, why do we care? Why did I care? I read it. I looked at it. This is from NPR. It's from their science section. Because I sat there, and from knowing what I know and being experienced with what I've been reading and shit like that about all the fucking DEI bullshit and things like that, something like this catches my eye because there's always some stupid fucking reason why they are doing this. Okay. So say goodbye to Bachman's sparrow, Scott's oriole, or Townsend's warbler. 3 birds among the half dozen get renamed first under a plan by the American Ornithological Society to do away with common bird names that honor people. Okay, so they're going to do away with bird names. So here's the thing. I don't give a fuck if they're going to do away with bird names. The bird names are kind of irrelevant to me. I don't give a shit about bird names. I just know basic birds. I don't know their actual, statuses and shit like that. But here is the reason why. Last year, the society announced a plan to do just that. The goal was to rename over 100 North and South American birds to purge bird names of links to racism and colonialism without having to engage in contentious and time-consuming debates about the morality of every historical figure that had ever been honored in the bird's common name. So hold on. We can wholesale just delete everyone even someone that may have discovered this bird and been harmless, because we don't want to debate on the merits of the person. So we're making the decision as a birding society that we're going to rename it on a whim because of some stupid fucking shit like links to racism and colonialism. Number one, colonialism is one of the main reasons why there are developed nations. Okay. So fuck all of you that are talking about colonialism, because yes, colonialism did bring some shit. Okay. But at the same time, it also forced countries to develop. Okay. It forced them to develop. They went from digging their own holes to take shits in to bathrooms. Okay. They went from, not having a good water system to run water. They had to, you know, boil all their water to getting a better functioning water system. There was a lot that colonialism did that is positive. Not all positive. Everything in history has a good and a bad. But to purge things of colonialism is such a leftist keyword at this point. And then to racism, everything's racism. Because if in the past, if we deem in 2024 that something in the past may or may not have been racist, oh boy, can't have that. Can't have that. I can't wait till these motherfuckers are judged in 30, 40 years, because they will be judged and they will be judged hard. So apparently, this pissed off birders and ornithologists, opponents and proponents will be able to go to the society's annual meeting in Colorado. They have an annual meeting. That's okay. Which features a forum on Thursday to discuss the bird names. So Ken Kaufman is an author of field guides and fellow of the society. He said he's seen his fair share of bird controversies, but this controversy is in its own league. Something at this scale I don't think has ever happened before. He says the decision was put out there. There was a very strong reaction in some quarters, and so the initial decision might wind up being altered. So what do you know? Stupid fucking decisions might have people going against them. So here we go. This is where the stupidity of these people comes in. On May 25th, 2020, George Floyd was killed on the same day that a white woman called the police on Christian Cooper, a black man out birding in New York, heightening awareness of social justice issues in society more generally and in birding specifically. So let's go over both of those. Number one, George Floyd died of an overdose. And it's been proven that I forget his name, the officer at this point, that on the knee, on the shoulder, not on the neck, it was on the small of the back and on the shoulder, was not the cause of the man's death. Okay? We can all be honest about this now. George Floyd was fucking rolling and his heart stopped because he did a ton of fucking drugs and fentanyl in the system. Okay? That is why he died. Did the stress probably help? No, but he was also resisting. If you watch the full fucking video, his girl's screaming at him to stop resisting. He is not doing, and there's a whole thing there. So if you want, there is the full video. You can go find it. Okay. Derek Chauvin, that's his name. The guy's rotting in fucking prison for doing a textbook hold on a guy who was resistant and rolling in fucking drugs and probably was not feeling a goddamn thing at that point. The only bird that needs to change his name is the Philadelphia Eagles to the Philadelphia Smelly, Drunk-Flea Riddled Fentanyl Birds. That is aggressive, and I partially agree, even though I have nothing against Philly, to be quite honest, but that's just hilarious, Nate. I appreciate that comment. Okay, let's continue with this fantastic thing. And so that's George Floyd. Let's talk about Christian Cooper. So I kind of looked this up again because I almost forgot who the fuck Christian Cooper was. This is from the New York City Karen calling the police thing. And I love it's a white woman called the police on Christian Cooper. So that whole scene, okay, if we remember and let's retell it correctly. From what we know about Christian Cooper, he's a fucking activist, not just a bird watcher. The guy was an activist, one. And activists always stir up shit. So number two, the woman, I believe her name was Amy Cooper, no relation, obviously, was walking her dog and there's a spot to take your leash off and have a leash on. And apparently she didn't have the dog on the leash. So Christian Cooper took it upon himself to say, put it on, and started threatening her because I think she basically told him to fuck off. I got to rewatch that video. And it's, I want to rewatch that video because from what I remember of it, she basically tells him to piss off, get away from me. Don't talk to my dog. Don't talk to me. And he says something like, if you're going to do whatever you want, then I'm going to do whatever I want and you're not going to like it. Now, I'm sorry. If any motherfucker, black, white, I don't care, a dude said that to my daughters, my wife, while they were alone just with their dog and you're in a park, fuck you. Fuck you. Absolutely calling the cops. Absolutely. Now, the kicker on this is this Christian Cooper's videotaping it. And all she's saying is, I'm going to call the cops and I'm going to tell them an African American man is threatening me. Now, I don't know why she said it. Her words said she hoped that it would deter him. Now, that's just fucking stupid. All you gotta do is say, I'm calling the cops saying there's a guy threatening me. You don't have to say an African American man, because number one, we don't know if he's from Africa, okay? That's assuming that he actually immigrated here from Africa. So all you have to say is a black man, because if they didn't immigrate here from Africa, they are not African American. They are just American. And they are black Americans. Like me, my heritage is Italian and Ecuadorian. I am not an Italian American. I am not an Ecuadorian American. I am a second generation person here, and I am just an American. You might call me indigenous. I am an indigenous American. I was born here on this soil. So I'll probably be on Columbus Day because it is Columbus Day. But you can also celebrate if you're born on the soil, I guess, that day for Indigenous Peoples Day. So, but anyway, that's in the future. That is future me next week. That will probably go on that fun rant. But anyway, so that is the long and short of both of those things. So they are making a decision based off of a guy that died of an OD, and Christian Cooper threatened a white woman and her dog, and then the white woman did say something fucking stupid, but he was out there threatening a woman. But that's okay. We're going to excuse that. We're going to excuse that one. So during that year, the society took action on a proposal to rename a bird that had previously been named after a high-ranking Confederate officer. McCown's longspur suddenly became a thick-billed longspur. So they're just sitting there and willy-nilly renaming things. Why? Because he was a Confederate. And why? Because all Confederates were bad people. They were just bad, racist people, right? No. Some Confederates were just like, hey, they're on my fucking land. So there's an army marching on my land. So now I'm going to go and fight the North because get off my farm. Not all Confederate soldiers were a bunch of racists. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a lot on the top. A lot of your plantation owners and stuff like that. Fine. But not all of them were a bunch of racists. Just because they were a Confederate officer doesn't mean they were racist. Now, I don't know the history of this gentleman, McCown. Okay. Maybe he was a raging racist. But again, stupid. This renaming proposal had been rejected a couple of years earlier, but times have changed. Confederate statues and monuments were coming down in cities and towns wrongfully. They should put wrongfully here. I know it's an opinion. That's just a fact. But wrongfully coming down, because we should not be taking down our history. We should learn from it. We should learn. There's a reason why we're always contemplating civil war now. It's because we're trying to erase the fact that we had one. Yeah, we should sit there and remember these things. As a person, I was a history major. As a historian, taking down these things is terrible. You don't take these down. And you know what? If you're going to remove them from the area, fine. If the town wants to remove them from the area. But the way they're just being fucking torn down, destroyed, melted down, no. They should be in a museum. They should be in a museum. Like, hey, here's a museum of the guys that lost. Here are their people that they considered, worthy of a statue. Do that. Tearing them down is always wrong. And tearing them down is what leftist, socialist, dictator-bound people do. They're always the ones. The ones that tear down the monuments become the revolutionaries. And the revolutionaries are always leftist revolutionaries. And then leftists put people against walls. And then they go against walls themselves by the very people that they helped put in power. It's how it always works. And these idiots that are supporting leftism do not understand that. Anyway, Nate, your buddy works at the jail that Chauvin is held in, screens his calls, and Ross Ulbricht. That's pretty crazy. That is absolutely crazy. He can probably write a book about some of the people that are calling in today. I'm not going to lie. All right. So a group, and I'm going to full disclosure. I didn't read this far. So you guys are reading with me here. I'll try and pick out only the important stuff. So, okay. So bird names for birds. Okay. urging a society to do more to address problematic bird names, likening eponymous common names to verbal statuses. So, verbal statuses, I guess, will remember their history and eventually they'll go away. That is basically what it is. They're going to change the name, and the people that are around now that remember what the name was are going to still say it. But then as time goes on, that name will eventually be eliminated. That's what they want to do. That is basically what that means. Let's see. Colleen Handel told NPR. I don't know who the fuck Colleen Handel is. Names have power, and power can be for good or it could be for bad. So, it's the society president. We want these names to be powerful in a really good way. That's just a stupid person talking, okay? Names do have power. Don't get me wrong. That is fine. But they are as powerful as you give them credit, right? It's bizarre. So let's see. Clark's Nutcracker, he says this. So Kaufman says he agrees with this. Clark's Nutcracker was named for William Clark of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Some consider Clark a great American hero, says Kaufman, but he also kept a man named York in slavery and refused for his pleas for freedom. The arguments about whether or not he deserves a bird name for him, Kaufman said, could get pretty dicey. So that's the thing. Why could it get dicey? Because one opinion shouldn't overshadow another. The bird was named Clark's Nutcracker, right? And Lewis and Clark were great explorers. That is not a question. It's not some consider. That is fact that they explored and they did something that no one else was willing to do at the time. And they made great discoveries while doing it, okay? The Lewis and Clark's expeditions are legendary. Now, let me mind you, when did the Lewis and Clark expeditions happen? So let me look this up. Lewis and Clark expedition. What year did this occur? This was in May 1804 to September. The expedition was May 1804 to September 1806. Okay. And for reference, when did that happen? So in 1865 is when slavery ended. So you're telling me that a person 60 years earlier owned a slave when it was a common thing for people to do. Again, I'm not couching this by saying whether it is right or wrong. We know the answer to that. But you're now going to demonize a person who had a slave 60 years before. Okay. And mind you, I don't even know how he treated this slave because the sad fact is not all slaves were beaten the shit out of, not all slaves were kept terribly because these people that own slaves consider them property, right? And that's wrong. Again, yes, fuck you. I don't need to say it, but I'm saying it. When you have something like my computer, I consider this computer my property. I'm not going to beat the fuck out of it because I want it to work. I want it to work for me. I want it to do its part. Ton of these slave owners did not beat the shit, malnourish, or give the people, their slaves, things that aren't going to benefit them because they wanted them to be able to do their job. They wanted them to be able to, in the long run, make the slave masters money. So do we know how Lewis and Clark, if someone can document me how Clark treated York, and if you tell me he treated him like shit, okay, Clark's a fucking piece of shit then, okay? But if it was a situation where York was a slave, worked for him, was given clothing, was given food, was housed, and just did the task that Clark asked him to do, it's wrong to have a slave. But 60 years before slavery ended, it was not considered a wrong thing by a majority of the individuals before the Republicans decided to get it out. Because even your Northern Democrats were in favor of slavery. They just knew it couldn't pass because the Republicans were up there. Okay. So this whole entire thing about, yes, in 1605, when calls were being made for freedom, like, no, I think that's opinion. That's conjecture. Okay. Okay. So the petition urging a society to reconsider when should be blah, 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 case by case. So yes, I believe that. Here's the thing. If you want to do something like this, it should absolutely be case by case. I think that none of them should be fucking changed. None of them, because it's a part of history again. But if you want to change it, it should be case by case. I think that is the best thing to do here, is to do it case by case. I'm not going to go through the rest of this. I think I've said my piece, but these people are fucking crazy. Now, is the naming of birds going to really affect us very much? No. No. But it is the overall process of the fact that this whole entire virus of wokeism is into everything, of DEI. It's into everything. And that's the problem. It's not about changing birds' names. I don't fucking know birds' names. I don't care about birds, okay? But the fact that this society deems it so important that we need to change these names. Because what the response you get is, well, if you don't care, if it doesn't bother you, then why do you care? If it doesn't bother them, why the fuck do they care? Why is the question never asked to them? It's always asked to the people that are rejecting it, right? The ones that are pushing against it, like us. But the question is never asked to the people that are changing the names. That why do they care? And they'll respond with, well, we're getting rid of racial things and colonialism and sexism and all the shit that they put into it. But then when we care and we say, hey, there's history here, good or bad, there's history. That's the name of the fucking bird. That's the name of X, Y, and Z. That's a monument. Then it's not affecting you. So why do you care? It's not affecting them either. It's not affecting them. The fact that there was racism 250 years ago and something was named after a guy that existed, in 1806, okay? That's not, that shouldn't bother you either. So it's absolutely wild. So that's my case there about that nonsense with birds arguing over fucking birders arguing over names. But all right, let's go to some more fun stuff. Oh, speaking of changing of things, this one I found was interesting here because we need to be on the lookout for when and why things get changed. Okay. Um, the bird thing flows perfectly into this because this title right here, and I think this has to do with like Iowa, but that's okay because this is going to affect us all over here. So this article titled "Why You Will No Longer See Wind Chill Warnings This Winter" from News Nation over here. This is Des Moines, Iowa. So starting this year, the weather alerts used to express the danger of cold air will change. The terms wind chill watch and wind chill warning will not be used anymore, the National Weather Service has said. Starting in 2024 and 2025 weather season, the agency will be replaced with different ways to describe dangerous cold conditions. So, okay, right from there. They are changing wind chill warning and wind chill watch, right? Wind chill watch is the lesser of the two. Wind chill warning, obviously, is the worst. Okay. Now, them changing it on its face is not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe they found better ways to describe it that are going to make it more accurate, right? Let's see how they want to change it. Cold weather spells that pose serious risks can now trigger 3 possible advisories. So we go from 2 to 3. Okay. A cold weather advisory. Okay, that's normal. It's advisory. Advise it's fucking cold outside. Don't be stupid. Those are the ones that get my eye. An extreme cold watch or an extreme cold warning. The new language will allow the NWS and National Weather Service to communicate that cold is dangerous with or without wind. Okay. Let's talk here, okay? The reason why, okay, with or without wind, cold is dangerous, fine. The reason why wind is there is because when wind is added to a cold day, if anyone's ever been outside, right? If you go outside and it's just cold, like it's near zero, yeah, it's fucking cold. But if you have some jacket on, you have good pants, you could probably wander around and meander around for a good amount of time and not really care. Just go do things, right? It's cold, it sucks, but you're in your winter coat. You maybe got some winter pants on or whatever, some boots, got a hat on. You're good. You can do things. You got gloves on. You're fine. You can go and move around, do what you got to do. It sucks, but you can do what you got to do. But when wind is added, and this is wind, okay, when it's 30 degrees, 40 degrees, and you add a cold wind, that now becomes shitty. Wind sucks, okay? Especially with cold weather and even with hot weather. When it's super hot and it's windy, wind sucks. Wind does not make much better, okay? Wind is not a good thing with a lot of these, when it gets to the extremes. So the reason why they were saying wind chill watch and wind chill warning is because when you're outside and it's cold and there's wind added, it sucks. Now, granted, I'm okay with them saying, when it's cold, we just want to warn people. But what I am going to highlight here is the word extreme with both of these. Okay. And here's why. Because what have we been hearing from all of the people on the left that are telling us that global warming, global cooling, climate change, existential crisis, right? That extreme weather is getting worse. It's extreme weather. This is weather we've never seen before, which is always categorically false. Always, 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 always categorically false. That when you look back in history more than like 50 years or 20 years, which is usually the time frames they choose, well, they'll say this is the worst since 1994, the worst since 1975, the worst since blah, 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 which you'll always acknowledge that there is something worse, but they put that there. They say the worst since, because they know that the common person does not read since blah, blah, blah. They just read the worst. So by adding extreme to these warnings, it now gives them the ability to consistently say, we're dealing with extreme weather. This is extreme. This is the product of climate change. Everything is extreme, extreme. You see how many times we've had extreme wind chill warnings and extreme cold warnings and extreme cold watches. This is just unprecedented how often we've had to say this, blah, 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 blah. That is what we're going to get from this, because these are not people that are working in good faith. These are people that are trying to push an agenda. So now they change the wording so that now when they're starting to say that we're going to get a bad winter storm, right? And they're going to now talk about the unprecedented level of this winter storm, how we are dealing with extreme cold watches and extreme cold warnings at an unprecedented level. Of course we are, because we never called them extreme before this. We just called them wind chill warnings. So the change of this language is not benign. I'm telling you right now, this is not a benign change of language. This is to make sure that while they're saying it, this is now documented that they're going to be calling these things extreme. So that when you're hearing, and this is to fool the common person that doesn't know that this change was made, because people are going to sit there and remember, oh, there's wind chills, right? That's fine. With the wind chill, I haven't heard a wind chill warning or wind chill watch, but I've been hearing extreme cold warnings and extreme cold watches. This is worse, right? It's got to be worse, when really they're just synonyms for that thing. So let's read the specifics here. Types of weather that would trigger these warnings depends on the location and time frame. In northern Iowa, blah, 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 so it would be a little different. Extreme cold watch would be issued if it feels like negative 35 degrees Fahrenheit or colder. An extreme cold warning is if an imminent threat within the next 12 to 36 hours. Okay, so that's pretty fucking cold. Okay. Further south, bit warmer, they talk about the difference. A cold weather advisory, meanwhile, be used when it feels more like minus 25 degrees or colder. So granted, again, this is going to be different wherever you live, probably. Iowa experiences cold a little different than we do in New York and Florida and Texas and whatever. But this is where we just need to keep our eyes on the birdie. This is where we need to make sure that we're not letting them do these sleight of hand and just change these words and then not know about them. Because, squalls are fake. Okay. I'm throwing that out there. I don't know if squalls have always existed, but me growing up in my 35 years of life, I just started to fucking hear about snow squalls the last like 5 years. Okay. Before that, snow squalls weren't a thing. And I don't know if I just never was paying attention, but snow squalls didn't exist. And for me, that seems like one of those things that the Weather Service has added. That, again, maybe that helps them categorize something a little more, but then they just started saying it like it was a thing. And they're going to do it here. They're going to do it here. They're going to stop saying wind chill warning. They're going to stop saying wind chill watch. They are going to stop saying those things. They're not going to give a preamble either. There's going to be no warning and saying, hey, we used to say wind chill watch and wind chill warning, but now I really would like for you to look at for cold weather advisory and also for extreme cold warning and extreme cold watch. And here's what to know about all of them. No, they're not going to fucking do that. They're just going to start saying these things and they're going to make it sound so much worse than it is. So be on the lookout for that. And then if you got that information from here, next time you hear a buddy when it's cold, because the winter's coming, right? Thank you, Starks. Thank you, Game of Thrones. But we're October 6th. We could see the shift. It's starting to get colder. It's colder every morning, getting darker earlier again. The temperatures aren't as high. We are going to start hearing these things come December, come January, February. We are going to hear it. They made the announcement now. And, this is on News Nation. They really didn't make an announcement. Unless you watch the Weather Channel, they might have said something there that they're changing the wording. But most people don't pay attention. So if you're here and you're paying attention, that is important that you know that wording matters. It absolutely matters. And you need to be on the lookout for when things like this change, because it is a big deal. All right. So where do I want to go from here? We talked about changing words. Let's have fun. And by have fun, I mean hate our government even more. Let's talk about the surveillance state, because the surveillance state is something that we're always warned about, right? It is a big deal for a lot of people who are considered on the conspiracy right, right? We're all the conspiracy right because we believe that they're watching us and they're monitoring us, and we know they are. I know my little Google Pixel here is, yeah, you like my sticker? My daughter threw a sticker on it. It's adorable, isn't it? Fucking say it's adorable. It's adorable. Anyway, my Pixel here with Amazon on it and everything, it's listening. This microphone that I'm talking through into this computer, it's going out to somewhere, to someone, everything, right? We know this. They know who's saying what already. But this is just jamming it home now that they are, we're always told they're not creating a database. No one's creating a database on you. You're just fucking paranoid. You're not important. Okay. Ho ho. What up, Wired.com? Let's read this. License plate readers are creating a US wide database of more than just cars. What a shocker that if you are driving around with cameras, you're not just doing what you're asked to do. Let's see the secondary byline here. From Trump campaign signs to Planned Parenthood bumper stickers, license plate readers around the US are creating searchable databases that reveal Americans' political leanings and more. Great. Awesome. So if you thought that at least you had some sort of safety, that at least if you want to just go put a sign up, it would just be seen by your neighbors and they would hate you or not hate you, right? Or if just the little things, like you want to wear a shirt, fuck it, you're cool, right? People will see you, but it's a personal thing. No, now you're in a database officially. Okay, so at 8:22 a.m. on December 4th last year, a car traveling down a small residential road in Alabama used its license plate reading cameras to take photos of vehicles it passed. One image, which does not contain a vehicle or license plate, shows a bright red Trump campaign sign placed in front of someone's garage. In the background is a banner referencing Israel, a holy wreath, and a festival of inflatable snowman. Holly wreath. Another image taken on a different day by a different vehicle shows steelworkers for Harris Walz sign stuck in the lawn in front of someone's home. A construction worker with his face unblurred is pictured near another Harris sign. Others' photos show Trump and Biden, including "Fuck Biden," bumper stickers on the back of trucks and cars across America. One photo taken in November 2023 shows a partially torn bumper sticker supporting the Obama-Biden lineup. Wow. Okay. So they're just driving around taking pictures. Now, these are supposed to be license plate readers, right? License plate readers are driving around taking pictures of political things. Now, why would they do this? Why would they do this? Okay, let's find out. Where are they getting access to this, right? The detailed photographs all surface in search results produced by the systems of DRN Data, a license plate recognition, LPR, company owned by Motorola Solutions. You might recognize them as Motorola. That same company that made phones. Hello, Moto. The LPR system can be used by private investigators, repossession agents, and insurance companies. A related Motorola business called Vigilant gives cops access to the same LPR data. So if you cops know your political allegiance if you're putting it out there, and not say if it's on your car, if it is on your property, which is fucking crazy. That's all my property, but it's on my home property. They know exactly who you support. And again, you got PIs that know this shit, repo agents, insurance companies. Insurance companies are getting exposed to your political leanings. Now, how could that be bad? How could major big business, which has been running under a DEI initiative and an ESG initiative, knowing where you lean, how could that be bad? I wonder. I fucking wonder. Let's keep going here. Files shared with Wired artist Julia Weiss, who is documenting restricted databases as part of her work, show how those with access to the LPR system can search for common phrases or names, such as those of politicians, and be served with photographs where the search term is present, even if it is not displayed on license plates. So this is where it's concerning. Because here's the thing. If they're taking a picture of a plate and maybe it's a Trump sticker next to it, it's a Biden-Harris sticker, Planned Parenthood, whatever the fuck you want to support, right? The coexist ones. If it's just in there, it's a wide scrot, and that's what it is, that's fine. I think license plate readers are fucking terrible to begin with. I don't think they should be legal. That you're taking pictures of my fucking license plate and sending and selling it third party, that is a complete violation of our privacy, and that should be made illegal completely and totally, 100%. That should not be allowed. But on top of that, since it is allowed right now, the fact that they are taking pictures of things that aren't having anything to do with the license plate is crazy. So, a search of Walz of license plates in Delaware vehicles with the text Trump returned more than 150 images showing people's homes and bumper stickers. Each search result includes date, time, and exact location of where the photograph is taken. So they know where you live. They know where you live doing this. So she searched a few more words and got a bunch of different things. So in an LPR, the LPR technology says it's collected billions of images of license plates. They also research. Research also shows how people's personal political views in their homes can be recorded into vast databases and be queried. This is terrifying. This is terrifying. Now we know surveillance is happening, right? We know we have the CCRTV things. They talk about it in here that are taking pictures of all of us all the fucking time. And we get it. There's only so much we can fight. We need to be better about fighting this shit but there's so much going on. And this is why, too. The election year, all this stuff, all these left-right battles that we're fighting. And we're just letting the government, and now this is private manufacturers as well, just keep on doing this shit. Focusing on the things we should be focusing on, not being surveilled, protecting our First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, all of our Bill of Rights, right? To sit there and have, this battled which. Jay Stanley, who's a senior policy analyst at the American Civil Liberties Union, it really reveals the extent in which surveillance is happening on a mass scale in the quiet streets of America. That surveillance is not limited to just license plates, but also to a lot of personal, potentially very revealing information about people. Let's see. So billions of photos. So license plate recognition broadly work by first capturing an image of a vehicle. Then they use an optical character recognition, OCR technology, to identify and extract the text from the vehicle's license plate with the capture image. Motorola-owned DRN sells multiple license plate recognition cameras, a fixed camera that can be placed near roads, identify a vehicle's make and model, and capture images of the vehicle traveling up 150 miles, a quick deploy camera that can be attached to buildings and monitor vehicles at properties, and mobile cameras that can be placed on dashboards or mounted on vehicles and capture images while they were driven around. So the only one that I don't care about, the quick deploy one, because attached to buildings, monitor vehicles at properties, that's fine. Private property, you want to know who's coming in and out? Cool. Fuck the one that can be placed near roads and identify make and models there. No, I don't like that. And the ones that could be on the dashboards. Don't like any of those. DRN has amassed more than 15 billion vehicle sightings across the U.S., and it claims in its marketing materials that it amasses more than 250 million sightings per month. Its commercial database are shared with police in its Vigilance system, but images captured by law enforcement are not shared back into the wider database. So we don't know what the cops are keeping. We don't know what the cops know about us. We don't know what the cops are seeing. So this is crazy. This is craziness. And this is something that I'm happy Wired has blown the whistle on this. And Weiss, what is it? Julia Weiss has done the work to get in here. In 2022, she became a certified PI in New York State. She unlocked the access to the vast array of surveillance software to PIs. Weiss could access DRN's analytic system, DRN sites, as part of the package through investigations company IRB Research. After Weiss published an op-ed detailing her work, they conducted an audit of her account and discontinued it. So when they found out that she was just in there to do investigative journalism, they discontinued it. So it's just, reading through more of this and stuff like that, it is craziness that they are allowing this to go on. And this is something that, again, if this is important to you, what you're hearing that I'm saying right now is important to you, these are the type of issues that you need to go to your congressman, that you need to go to your senator, and not just federal. You need to go to your state level. You need to go, if you have a county level like we do here in New York, go to your county level, your local level. Everyone needs to know about this because maybe the federal level goes, yeah, fuck off. We got bigger fish to fry. Okay. Maybe the state level goes, not enough people are complaining about this. It's not a crazy thing. But when you go to your localish level, your more local levels, they might be the ones that start to look into this. And then those people also are friends with those that are in the bigger areas. Okay. So it's not a frivolous thing to do. So I want to make sure that people know that this is not something frivolous. So absolutely go ahead and do these types of things. If this is important to you, what I'm saying is important to you, go and complain, make complaints, make your voice heard. So again, she talks about how things are misused. Weist, confidential information was misused by police officers and things like that. They go on to demonize police officers a little bit here. They talk about how blah, blah, blah. They should be able to filter out images, like similar to what I said. The DRN president, Jeremiah Wheeler, license plate recognition technology supports public safety, which, what the fuck does public safety mean? And community services, from helping to find abducted children and stolen vehicles to automating toll collection and lowering insurance premiums by mitigating insurance fraud. So they are basically saying we are spying on you to keep you safe. That is the famous last words of every totalitarian government, right? But this is coming from a private company. But we are spying on you to keep you safe. Fuck you, TRN and Jeremiah Wheeler. Okay? Because for every abducted child that you help find or a stolen vehicle that you help find, you allow the tolls to raise their prices without barely anybody knowing. You allow insurance companies to spy on people. Fuck that. They should be, you know what? You want insurance companies, do it the old fashioned way. Hire a PI and let the PI go and track the person to make sure that they are doing what you're doing. This is just making it easier for insurance companies to harass people. So I'm not going to go into this AI everywhere. Obviously, we have, everything going on. They talk about CCTV here. But yeah, this is absolutely fucking terrifying. And good on Wired to blow the whistle on this. But this is something that we should all be fighting back against, and that we should all at least be raising the awareness of, those in power that could potentially do something about this, because it is high time that we start using that power. And again, don't always go federal. Send it to them. Fuck it. Send it to them. And talk to your friends. Here's the thing. One letter, one phone call, they will ignore. Okay. You'll be ignored. But if they get even 10 to a federal office, that then becomes a problem. The same thing, 10 of their constituents complaining about it, that is something that they are going to turn their heads at and at least give a look into it. And then if you get more to send it, let people know that this type of stuff is a problem. You might sound fucking crazy at first, but then show them that article. Show them that article from Wired that, hey, this is legit. Wired did research on this. We should be concerned about this. This shouldn't just be something that crazies make sound like that. No, we are officially, we all make a joke. Oh, our phones are listening to us. Our Alexas are listening to us. Yes, they are. But this is just as big. And, we have our phones, we have our Alexas for ease, right? That is why we have these things. We know what they're doing, but we keep them because they make our lives easier. The fuck does a license plate detector make easier? Nothing. Fight the battles you can potentially win or make a dent in. So this is something that people should be contacting politicians some way. Just fucking get in touch with them and let them know that this is going on. And it's going on to them too. That's the thing. It is going on to them too. All right, where are we at? We're at hour 14, 11:25. I'm not going to hang out for too much longer. So maybe we will move on to... Not going to do that one. So we'll close out here. We'll do one last we'll do our second little headline here about Tim Walz being absolutely fucking destroyed by Shannon Bream in an interview that he did, okay? And no one, they're just throwing this man out to the wolves. And this is coming from Red State. And it is absolutely hilarious. We'll watch some clips here too that Red State has on it from tweets that Trump War Room puts up. So Shannon Bream just bodies Tim Walz on border, abortion, and misspeaking during Fox interview. And you know what? Shannon Bream, kudos to you. I'm going to give you a clap. You really did do a great job. It's a toss-up that any journalist worth their salt would at least do, but at least Shannon Bream does her job here. So right here, we're going to look at some of the Trump War Room stuff. Again, the Democrats have to be worried because they're finally having Kamala Harris and Tim Walz do more interviews, although they're still largely with friendly outlets. The only one that wasn't an easy interview that Walz did on Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream, who actually asked some real questions. I suppose they want to say they did Fox, but they didn't want Kamala, so the other choice was Walz. And yeah, he didn't. He did a lot of no answers. So this is, the typical one. I'm not going to play this one because this one is, a whole lot of nothing. But they show the plans on how more Americans feel that Harris is going to affect them negatively with her plan, and that Trump is going to affect them positively. And Walz gives a bullshit answer, and then he ends up, we have a middle class agenda. So here we go. This is a good one right here, because this is Shannon Bream schooling them on what a tariff is. Okay. And I want everyone to listen to again, Shannon Bream, I give her credit. She kind of masterclass, but Tim Walz is also fucking retarded. So it's not hard to get him on things, but let's listen in here.
We're seeing economists talk about Donald Trump's proposal to add a 20% sales tax will cost $4,000. Okay. That's everybody. That's not me saying it.
And just to note, that is a tariff, which, by the way, this administration not only kept most of the Trump tariffs, but they added their own as well. So that's got to be part of the conversation.
And then she just, that, and there was a lot of that. That was essentially this whole entire interview. Now, this is another good one. I think this one's a little bit longer, but this is another good one to watch, because this is Shannon Bream nailing Tim Walz about the abortion law here that he signed into law over in Minnesota.
I want to clarify what the law is there in Minnesota. Abortion Finder, a website that helps women find access, says abortion is legal throughout.
And by the way, it's their right to have Abortion Finder, but fuck them. That is gross.
Pregnancy in Minnesota, there is no ban or limit on abortion in Minnesota based on how far along in a pregnancy you are. You signed the bill that makes it legal through all 9 months. Is that a position you think Democrats should advocate for nationally?
Look, the vice president and I have been clear. The restoration of Roe versus Wade is what we're asking for.
But that law goes far beyond Roe v. Wade.
To make her own choice. The law is very clear. It does not change that. That has been debunked on every occasion.
But wait. Let's agree. What you signed is there's not a single limit through 9 months of pregnancy. Roe had a trimester framework that did have limits through the pregnancy. The Minnesota law does not have that.
This puts the decision with the woman and her health care providers. The situation we have is when you don't have the ability of health care providers to provide that, that's where you end up with a situation like Amanda Zaworski in Texas, where they are afraid to do what's necessary. This doesn't change anything.
I'm going to stop that because he goes on to some things, and Shannon Bream does destroy him again, which is fantastic. She did a great job. Maybe we'll watch another clip or two because I don't want to watch a ton. Yeah, so it lied about the debate, the fact that it does remove requirements. Oh, they put up a graphic saying about how it removed the requirements. And again, he doesn't defend anything, okay? This is one where Shannon Bream calls him out for saying that anti-Israel protesters are there for all the right reasons. And he's saying, I certainly didn't mean Hamas. Now, that's one I may want to can give to him, right? Because yes, he was trying to both side it. But that's similar to when they clip Trump saying very fine people on both sides. It's one of those things that, at times, and Walz is kind of an idiot too, so I could see him doing this, where when he said it, it was just kind of, he's assuming everyone's going to give him the benefit of the doubt and they're going to understand that he means not the Hamas carrying ones, not those fucking terrorist ones. But again, you get caught, you get your feet held to the fire when you're a politician. This is Shannon Bream asking him out all of the fucking things. And let's just look at this laundry list. They put the graph screen. That's probably why I'm going to stop. I think it's fucking hilarious. They throw a graphic up. So let's watch.
Republicans came out against it long before President Trump indicated he didn't like it either. Listen, before we go, because I wish that we had a full hour, I want to give you a chance, because you called yourself a knucklehead this week, to talk about some of your misstatements. Yeah. You've modified your story or explained that you misspoke about things involving your military rank, about carrying a weapon in war, your 1995 DUI arrest, using IVF to have your beautiful children, Gus and Hope, being in Hong Kong and China in the summer of 1989 during the Tiananmen events. A lot of people would say they couldn't get away with saying, I'm just too passionate, my grammar's not right, I'm a knucklehead. What do you say to the American people who think, I don't know that I can trust this guy with all those modifications to be the potential commander-in-chief of this country?
Yeah, well, I think they heard me. They heard me the other night speaking passionately about gun violence and misspeaking. And I got to be honest with you, Shannon, I don't think people care whether I used IUI or IVF when we talk about this. What they understand is Donald Trump would resist those.
And again, trying to be a politician just swings it back to an answer that has nothing to do with the question that was asked, right? So, I mean, it's good. He fucking lies about how the border is the strongest and have a policy. Like, here's the thing. Tim Walz is a terrible candidate. And I mean, you have to think that Kamala was punting with this one, because he is just so bad. I mean, you can go on this all you want and, and just watch Shannon Bremer. Go watch the interview. But yeah, it was pretty bad. This was very bad for Tim Walz. Shannon Bremer did a great job there. And, it did exactly what a journalist should do. And, I expect Shannon Bream to do this to JD Vance. If JD Vance has some skeletons in his closet or things like that, and they should absolutely ask JD Vance about, we called Trump American Hitler and things like that, and make him answer it again. Why not? Why the fuck not? Difference is JD Vance is going to give you a more complete answer than anything Tim Walz said there. So it's always just funny there, but good on Shannon Bream. Man, sucks to be Tim Walz, just constantly getting thrown to the wolves, because they are just so weak in the Harris campaign that that's all they could do is they have him. Harris can't go on Fox. Kidding me? She goes on Fox, they will kill her on Fox. She could not handle being on Fox because she has a terrible record going back from when she was the DA in California to a senator, where she was voted the most liberal senator, which I think and wokeness had a little bit. In 2019, she was the most liberal senator, according to I think it was one of the government ones that you can rank them. And they scrubbed that, by the way. This year they scrubbed that record from her, that she was the most liberal senator. And then as a VP, she's been terrible as a VP. And we saw her continuing to be terrible with her announcement yesterday with Lebanon. While, the people in North Carolina could use that money, why are we sending it over there? So anyway, that's it for this one. I appreciate everyone that watched. I got a few things that I kind of left out there that we'll bring back tomorrow when Dave's here. We'll chit chat with Dave and we'll tell him that he's dumb, which we always do, because, we can. But yeah, no, I appreciate everyone out there that watch that. Always watch that. It's going to listen later. You're all awesome. So if you're on X, give us a follow there, and give us a repost there and all that good stuff. Like it. If you're on Facebook, give us a follow, share, all that good stuff. If you are on YouTube, give us a subscription and give us a thumbs up. And we appreciate everything. So Nate, you're always here. I want to say good night to you, my man. And to everyone else, I want to say good night. We will be back tomorrow, maybe with David, maybe not. We'll find out. But all right, everyone, thank you so much.